First homestand comes to a close at Nationals Park. Craig Stamon makes his 2010 debut looking to slow down Ryan Howard in the potent Phillies offense.
It's a great day for baseball.
How to slow down these Phillies, that's the big question for Stamon. And for the Nats, Philadelphia hitting .324 as a team in the first two games of the season. And they, of course, go for the sweep today. Bob Carpenter, Rob Dibble. Hopefully some better things to come for our ball club. Even though he's not in the lineup today, Ian Desmond has been outstanding. This kid's really driving the ball all over the field.
Yes, he is. And when guys like Steven Strasburg get here, they're going to need some people to play defense. And one of them is the really good shortstop, Ian Desmond. And Ian Desmond gets it done. He sticks his nose in there, turning double plays. He can definitely play some good shortstop. And then when he's at the plate, he can really hit the ball with authority. 15 of his 25 hits so far, Bob, have been for extra bases. So, you know, he's one of the very talented young guys that they decided to go with off the bat coming out of spring training. So he might not be in the lineup, but he's going to be ready to play as soon as he gets back in there, because they gave him the opportunity coming out of spring training to start at shortstop, and that's pretty good at the major league level.
And, of course, it's not like the Nats aren't generating any offense. They're hitting .271.
Yeah, they're going to score some runs, but there's going to be some growing pains with the pitching staff, and got to challenge more guys. In the first two games, 37 1-0 counts. That's fallen behind too much, and to a team like this that can put a hurt into you offensively, you got to work ahead.
Resulting in 17 walks, by the way. Craig Stamon, hey, it's Thursday. We're going to cover the bases with the 26-year-old right-hander from Ohio. 12th round draft choice back in 05. 4-7. 19 starts as a rookie last year. Mitsubishi. Test drive one today at the Dare to Compare sales event. And by GoRVing.com. Visit GoRVing.com to watch a free video. Go affordably. Go RVing. Well, we've got some cloud cover in our nation's capital today. Possibility of some showers moving into the area. We'll keep our fingers crossed that does not happen as the Nats and the Phillies get ready for the finale of this three-game series. Phillies, as mentioned, 324, scoring 19 runs, and Ryan Howard has driven in 5 of them with a couple of tape measure home runs. Well, we got only change in the lineup, Brian Schneider today.
I was going to say, just skip Ryan Howard, pitch around him, because Worth's hitting $125, Raul Ibanez hitting 143. So, let's take Ryan Howard out of the equation today, please.
Craig Stamon hasn't faced the Phillies. Saw some other teams in the division other than Philadelphia last year. Uncharted waters for him, and let's hope it's smooth sailing at least for most of the afternoon.
Well, in a very solid spring, you come back, you have bone chips removed, and to pitch as well as he has, this kid wanted it bad, and that's why he earned the 3rd spot in the rotation.
Nationals defensively. Christian Guzman back at short today. Will Nieves behind the plate. And Willie Harris is back in right field. The other regulars in their assigned spots. Jimmy Rollins steps in 3 for 7 with 4 walks and 2 runs in this series. And we're underway. 1 minute late at 4:36. And here comes Josh Willingham. 1 pitch, 1 out. Always a good way to start the game. Visit trainsearch.com to locate an independent train dealer near you. It's hard to stop a train. They bring us the weather. 82 degrees. Cloudy, quite breezy in town today. And some weather approaching from the south-southwest with that 27-mile-an-hour wind. We were told there's some heavy activity out in the West Virginia panhandle. Maybe the mountains will stop it. Here's Polanco, 5 of 9 with that 6 RBI day on Monday. And a bouncer, Zimmerman, the most aggressive third baseman in baseball, charges, and then Adam Dunn blocks the bag on the wide throw. 2 outs. How'd you like to go down the line looking at number 44 waiting for you?
Well, he was going to be a quarterback, but he looks like a defensive end, and he's a great target to throw to. There you see Zim get rid of the ball early. You see him picking up Adam. No one does it as well as he does in the National League. That's why he got a Gold Glove for his efforts last year. The first part of that is, Bob, you got to catch it, then you pick up your target and fling it over.
Here's Utley. Chase is 3 for 7, 4 walks, 3 runs. The offensive numbers are staggering.
Hold on.
And by the way, a couple of teams avoided sweeps today. The Dodgers won 10-2 at Pittsburgh, and the Reds beat St. Louis at home 2-1. Johnny Gomes hit a homer in that game, so did Matt Holliday. Guess who went deep for the Dodgers? Ronnie Belliard.
Rolls Royce, Ronnie.
He likes to swing for those fences. 1-1 to Utley. Needless to say, you'd love to see the top of the first end right here.
Would love to see Ryan Howard lead off the second.
Interesting. Craig Stamon's up to his old tricks, Rob. Of National League pitchers last year, he was 4th in the league with the fewest pitches per batter faced. Interesting statistic. And Jason Marquis was right ahead of him at 3.53, Stamon at 3.54. The most economical pitcher in the league last year at 3.42 was Joel Pinheiro, followed by Zach Duke, and Chris Carpenter's in the top 5 as well. 12-year veteran Hunter Wendelstedt has the plate.
And give Dave Duncan a lot of credit for that. He has a lot of aggressive pitchers on the Cardinals.
2-1, and beyond the reach of Adam Kennedy, who actually might have overreached the ball. And Ryan Howard will bat in the first inning.
Well, he's got a great ground game. He gets a lot of ground balls. He throws a lot of hard sinkers in the low 90s. Minimize the damage. Right there, you got third guy on. You got Ryan Howard coming up. If you have to walk him and work ahead in the count, as we said in the open, 37 1-0 counts, which means you're in the hole and you're putting the Phillies on the offensive. We don't want to do that.
Howard in this series, 4 for 10. He's only struck out once. Phillies would love Ryan Howard to strike out once every other game, but he usually averages more than 1 a game.
We said this last night. The way they're pitching Adam Dunn, they're trying to make Zimmerman and Willingham hurt them.
Stanton Howard spins in a breaking ball, 1-1.
One-0 pitch. Takes a lot off. Change of speed. 80-mile-an-hour breaking ball right there. Beautifully done.
Ryan Howard struck out 186 times last year. Short lead by Utley. Keeping the ball down and away. 92 with movement. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, and the guy hitting behind him had 156 strikeouts, so well over 300 strikeouts in the 4 and 5 hole. And there you see him swinging and missing. I wouldn't mind seeing another breaking ball bob in the dirt. Give him anything to hit.
Well, you know that Ryan Howard's feeling pretty frisky right now.
Yep.
He'd probably expand his zone on anything close out there.
Well, here's the thing. If Howard hits a home run in his first couple of at-bats, he's so comfortable now he's just going to sit there and be particular. But if he starts pressing and you start making him expand his zone, he's going to start swinging at bad balls all over the place. Big guys want to get their RBIs and homers.
And a 2-2 bounces. What do you say? Anything you could throw on 3 and 1, you'd throw on 3 and 2?
Absolutely. You know, anything on 2 and 2, you'd throw 3 and 2. And to me, with Ryan Howard, if you throw it in the dirt again, it's not a bad pitch. Try to get him to fish for it. If he doesn't bite, then you go to work on the right-handed Worth. Don't give in to him.
Breaking ball ripped, and there's a guy there. It's the second baseman in right field, Adam Kennedy, and Craig Stamon does a good job of keeping the Phils off the board. Now the Nats offense goes to work. Phillies a hit and a runner stranded. The Nats are batting .271, but scoring just 5 runs in their first 2 games. Christian Guzman back in the lineup. Hits well against the Phillies. Batting average of .320. 1 for 2 in the early going. First appearance of the year as a starter for Will Nieves as well. And the Nats are facing 25-year-old right-hander Kyle Kendrick, who was a good football player himself. Washington State wanted him to be a quarterback. He's out of Mount Vernon High School in the Houston area. Born in the Houston area and then went to high school out in Washington. And he was hurt last year, only pitched in 9 games, 2 starts for the Phils.
Well, and Joe Blanton's injury opened the door for Kyle to get into the rotation.
And Morgan rocks one that's heading for the scoreboard. He's going to think 3 until the Phillies stop him. And there he goes. And he almost slid into the Phillies dugout. He is so aggressive. And the Nats have a runner at third with nobody out.
Well, the first part of this is the hang and break involved. Niger jumps all over it, shoots it right in the gap, and once it gets by Worth and Victorino, he is off to the races. Look at him giddy up, hits it in another gear coming around second. And like a dragster, he needs a parachute as he goes right by the bag. Man, setting the table, trying to get a run for Stamon early.
First triple of the year. He had 2 triples in 49 games with the Nats last year. So here's Guzman, a good contact man. Of course, early in the ball game, the Phillies are not going to play their infield in a situation like this. Not that Guzman is a big RBI guy, but he's going to get one right there on a solid base hit up the middle. His first of the year, and that quickly the Nationals have the lead. Second time in this series they've led 1-0. I know Guzman has been criticized a bit for this and that, but with a bat in his hands, Rob, he's a man with great pride in this game.
Well, and you saw him shift his weight, but he still kept his hands back behind the hitting zone. He was able to punch that out there. He was just trying to put it to the right side, and he knows if I can get it on the ground to the right side that I'm going to bring in a run.
Here's Ryan Zimmerman off to a 2-for-8 start. He rocks one to left, heading for the wall. It is off the Exxon sign into second base where nobody's covering. And Guzman will stay at third base, and the Nats now just need a home run to hit for the cycle in the first inning. And that was nearly a long ball. Boy, they're attacking this guy early in the count. And a great chance for Adam Dunn to pick up his first RBIs.
Well, some curveballs, but here's a sinker down and in, just like to a lefty, down and into a righty, the sweet spot, and Zim jumps all over it. He hits it so hard, it didn't go out of the ballpark, it went off the wall. Easy stand-up double, but Ibanez threw it into second. Nobody was covering. Almost caught a break there, almost got another run.
Shift is on, except for the third baseman, Polanco, as Adam takes the ball inside. Dunn's 1 for 6. 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. And despite the shadows, the Nationals have come out swinging the bats, seeing the ball very well here. That's inside, 3-0.
This last couple of pitches just missing for Kendrick. We saw this yesterday with our own Jason Marquis that you don't have overpowering stuff. You have a lot of sinkers, breaking balls, and cutters. You need a little help from the umpire on the edges.
And Dunn, ball knocked down by Howard. It'll be an RBI. And the other runner moves up as well. So the Nats lead 2-0. And Adam Dunn is on the board for the first of 100-some RBIs this year. Sharply hit ball. Good at bat. Game notes. Well, for some reason on getaway day, the Nats do pretty well here, or at least on series finale days. Niger Morgan continues his great offense since coming over from Pittsburgh. And Ryan Zimmerman, no coincidence that he would double first time up against Kyle Kendrick. Now Josh Willingham has a man at third with less than 2 outs. The Nationals have their second multi-run inning after scoring 2 in the third last night. But this is the largest lead they've had in a ball game so far. And that strike zone is a little bit tight. Bringing to mind some of Joe West's comments, Rob, after working the Yankees-Red Sox series about how he criticized those ball clubs because of the slow pace of the game. There are some would say Why don't you guys call some strikes and the games might go a little quicker?
Well, and we've seen a lot of walks, not just on our side. And after the game, the Philly announcers, we talked to them, and they had the same perplexing problem that we do. Where are all these pitches? And that last pitch, you know, if you're not going to call some strikes, it's going to be very difficult for pitchers to move forward in the game.
Willingham swinging on 3-0. That's a sacrifice fly to center field, and the Nationals lead 3-0.
And to finish your point, Bob, Joe West, the head of the Umpires Union, president, basically got on the Red Sox and Yankees for their 4-hour games. But you know what? Those teams are a lot of times playing in September. They're very patient at the plate, and that's baseball. And if you know that you're going to get a lot of balls called your way, why would you go up there swinging?
Yeah.
You know, what, to just make the game 3 hours long? That's not baseball. And so, you know, it's something where this evaluation zone that they have in every stadium to judge the umpires, and they judge and they err on the side of balls.
It's made everybody too cautious. And everybody, Rob, I've talked to in this game, scouts, coaches, managers, players, they, to a man, tell me if they would call more strikes, it wouldn't hurt the hitters because they'd be more aggressive and they'd have better at-bats, and it would not hurt the offense at all.
And listen, the pitchers don't want a free ride. They don't want a bunch of strikes called for them. They just want a consistent strike zone. You know, when you come out there every time and it's a different strike zone, it's hard to bring your game and your A game out there to the mound.
1-1 pitch, and Willie Harris scorches it right at Ryan Howard. Every ball the Nationals hit in that inning met very solidly. Morgan, Guzman, and Zimmerman all score runs with the triple and the base hit, then the double. A big first.
The Nats and Craig Stamon on top by a score of 3-0 right now as we move to the top of the inning. Now, today we are covering the bases with Craig Stamon, and I am joined by his father, Jeff. Now, I asked Craig, if you weren't a professional baseball player, what would you be doing? And he said, I'd probably be working for my dad, who sells farming equipment. And then you told me that he has worked for you in the past. Tell us a little bit about that.
He's done that and quite well. He's very interested in farm equipment and just things of life, you know, what's good for his food and stuff like that. Yeah. And that's not all, Debbie. He worked for us when he was in high school, putting up grain bins, and that was a lot of hand work, your fingers and stuff like that, and it was pretty abrasive. It cut your fingers. So when he got in the minor league system, we kind of cut that out, and we put him in the office is what we did. So, but yeah, he enjoyed that quite well.
Smart move on your part. Now, I understand from Steve McCaddy that he's a very stubborn young man in a good way, and he's very tenacious. Where does that come from?
Well, I shouldn't say this, but he's pretty competitive, just like his mom. And he gets it from her. Not from me, but from her, I think. Maybe a little from me, but Craig's pretty competitive. He sure is.
Of course, Mom Connie's sitting right next to you. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful son, and we enjoy him.
Thanks, Debbie.
Guys, back up to you.
Covering the bases with Craig Stamon, who gives up a rocket to the wall. It'll one hop beyond the reach of Willingham off the bat of Jason Worth. So the Phillies have their first extra base hit. Worth came into that at bat 1 for 8 on the young season. Ibanez, Victorino, and then the former Nat Brian Schneider to follow.
Well, if you're Craig Stamon, you want to try to come out right now, put a goose egg up there, so give up that leadoff double and try to kill this rally and go after Ibanez.
Little tapper right side. Ibanez only 1 for 8 so far. That's the good news, and the Phillies have a runner at third base with 1 out. But as usual, Craig Stamon is attacking the hitters and getting some quick results. He threw 13 pitches in the first inning, 7 strikes. And here's Shane Victorino. And the Nats, of course, will play their infield back. I remember the words of the great Roger Maris about situations like this. Now, he was an RBI guy who would drive in 75 to 80 runs a year. He'd say, to do that, I only had to drive in 50. The other 25 or 30 came in situations like this, where you could hit a ground ball up the middle or a fly ball to the outfield. Take advantage of these situations. You'll have a great RBI season. And there's the ground ball, perfectly placed, and the Phillies are on the board. 2 outs, bases empty. Let's have a look at our Luna second inning sponsor feature. For the Luna double and get your second room of flooring free, call 877-241-LUNA. Rob double plays big last night.
3 double plays last night for the Nationals. A lot of big ones right there. Tyler Clippard, back to him. He starts it, throws it on the right side for Desmond, and he turns it over. So some very good defense, and the pitcher's best friend, those double plays.
Stamon getting ground balls here. Guzman jumps up and throws it. And that's it for the Phillies in the top of the second. Things are happening quickly on this getaway day. 3-1 Nats. Stamon to hit here in the bottom of the second inning. And a week from Friday, when the Brewers are here, we will honor Jackie Robinson Day. He was a writer, a soldier, an activist, a leader, a father, a husband, a family man, and of course a Hall of Fame player and a game changer as far as the history of Major League Baseball. Hope you can be with us a week from Friday. The Milwaukee Brewers will be here. Nats have an interesting early season schedule, as Rob discussed last night, with Milwaukee here. We're seeing the Phillies. A little later on, Colorado and St. Louis. The Nats will play all 4 of last year's National League playoff teams by the middle of May. Off to New York on the Silver Rails tonight. And here's Adam Kennedy off to a 1-for-7 start with an RBI.
Oh, we were hitting the heck out of Kendrick in the first inning. They need to get right back in there, start doing that again, get some more runs.
Interesting history in Kyle Kendrick's first appearances of the year. They have not gone well for him, as Utley takes care of that. In the last 3 years, Kyle Kendrick's first outing of the year has resulted in a 7 ERA, and opponents hitting nearly 350 against him. He only went 2 innings last year, 5 and 6 the 2 years before that.
Well, he spent most of last year in the minor leagues, made a couple of big league starts, 9 appearances, but most of the time in AAA Lehigh Valley. Pretty good numbers down there. Only allowed 9 home runs. I mean, he throws a lot of ground balls, and you just saw that last one.
Something about day baseball in our nation's capital kind of brings the Nats bats alive. Last year, in day games here, the Nationals had a winning record of 12 and 11 and averaged 5.5 runs a game. That was nearly a run and a half better than at night. Are the baseball gods trying to tell us to play more sunshine baseball? A lot of interesting things there. Batting average almost 280. Good on base average as a team. Slugging good. Home runs flying.
Yeah, that's 16 under at night. Has to change.
Yeah. Slow roller off the bat of Will Nieves. 2 outs. Craig Stamon coming up. And here at the 5 o'clock hour, we couldn't care less how much traffic there is on 395. We're at the ballpark. We can see them crawling by as we look up toward the Capitol Dome.
And if they want to make a right, hit that exit at, what is it, South Capitol Street exit, and come right down to the ballpark, no problem.
Yeah. Tell them Rob Dibble sent you. They'll give you 2% off your parking. Here's Craig Stamon, who's 6 for 31 career with 4 RBIs, so he has handled the bat pretty well. Big, strong guy. You heard his dad talking about how he used to work with his hands. That'll make you strong. Dad's keeping score, making some notes. Craig listed at 6'3", 200 pounds. Nasty sinking fastball there.
You know, he probably played some football growing up in Ohio.
Still the all-time leader in strikeouts at the University of Dayton.
Nice. Dayton Flyers won the NIT.
Yeah, he was pretty proud of that when they beat North Carolina. That'll do it for Craig and for the Nats in the bottom of the second. On to the third. 3-1 Washington. Polanco to follow, and I'm sure that it makes Tony Vittorio, Craig's coach at the University of Dayton, very proud to hear that he's facing those kind of hitters with those big names at this level. Hey, Coach, thanks for joining us today, and how's everything out in Dayton this afternoon?
A little bit cold out in Dayton right now, but things are well, and thanks for having me on, too.
Tony's in his 11th year, from the Indianapolis area originally, and your Dayton Flyers. Tell us about your baseball program and how Craig Stamon's place in history there is set for now.
11 years ago, I was fortunate to take over the program, and we had to build it, and it took us some time to build it, but we're coming off a championship season. We won Atlantic 10 last year, and we got 2 guys in the big leagues right now, obviously Craig being one of them, and Jerry Blevins with the Oakland A's, but just very, very proud of Craig. He's a special person, and going to enjoy talking about him here.
Hey, Tony, what did you see in a young Craig Stamon that wanted you at Dayton? I mean, his dad was just finished talking about him, how stubborn he is, kind of like his mother. But what did you see that wanted to get him in a Dayton Flyers uni?
Well, he's from about an hour north of Dayton, from Versailles, Ohio, a little country town, and he was going to be a Flyer no matter what, thank God. Grew up rooting for the Flyers and those type of things, but he thought he was going to be a shortstop, and we went and watched him play in high school and had him in on a visit, and I flat out told his mom and dad on that visit and Craig that he's going to get drafted out of here someday, and I said the problem is it's going to be as a pitcher, and I think at first he wanted to be an everyday player, and his dad, they're so humbled that his dad kind of laughed at us that day saying, yeah, right, my son's going to play professional baseball someday, but you could see it in his arm strength and his character, too, that he had a chance.
Hey, Tony, is there something about a young man that comes from that sort of family, just real salt-of-the-earth type people, that leads you to believe, if he's gifted, that there's something extra special going on there as far as what's in his mind and what's in his heart?
Well, let me just tell you about Craig real quick. I mean, he's a very humbled family, first of all. Last year he made it up to the big leagues and obviously had that surgery at the end of the year and battled through some stuff last year. And just this winter, right before we have a Christmas camp, December 27th, 28th, 29th, and Craig's always kind of worked our camp in the winter time and even worked it the year before. But he calls me and asks me to work camp. Here's a big leaguer that's calling his college and saying, hey, can I work camp? Another story on him. I know this isn't baseball related. This is character related. Another story on him is I called him right after Christmas break, and he picks up the phone at his dad's hardware store, and he was working, And I said, what are you doing working, And I don't have to work. He says, because I love to work, and my dad's here, and my uncle's here, and I just love it, Coach. So he has an unbelievable work ethic. He has great passion for what he's doing. He comes from a great parents. He's just a special kid. He's that farm boy that baled hay, and he's a workhorse. And we had to pipe him down a little bit, believe it or not. I mean, he was overly competitive. For baseball, he's a football, basketball guy. He did everything in town there in Versailles, but. All we had to teach him was really more the mental game than anything.
How much does it help your program to have a player like Craig Stamon, not just in the big leagues, but to come back and talk to some of your younger players?
Well, it's incredible. I mean, he doesn't even realize how much they look up to him. Sometimes we forget that as in the athletic world, but he's so humble that he just acts like he's one of the guys when he comes back, and he's around us a lot, and we're around him a lot, and it's just great for our program. I know in the fall he comes back to our golf outing that we have and hangs out with the team the whole week, in inter-squad games, and talks to our pitchers, as a group, and he throws his bullpens here at the University of Dayton to our catchers and those type of things. So it's awesome to have him around.
Well, the pitcher Kendrick has grounded out. Jimmy Rollins has singled. 2 balls and a strike to Placido Polanco, and he rips one inside the line down the third base way. Over to get it, Josh Willingham. Rollins will stop at third. Into second base, Polanco, and the Phillies are trying to build a rally here. Hey, Tony, thanks for your help in the development of Craig Stamon. We really appreciate your time today. And we know your kids are practicing right now, so we'll let you get back to work. Appreciate your time.
Hey, thanks for the time, and the best of luck to the Nationals here.
All right, Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
Take care, guys.
That's head coach Tony Vittorio from the University of Dayton, Craig Stamon's college coach. Right now, Craig has his hands full with runners at second and third, one out, and Chase Utley coming up.
Well, one of the things we talked about in the open, minimize damage. It's just a matter of time before the Phillies start putting something together. You got second and third, one out. Fly ball scores a run, but it also gets an out and gets you closer to getting out of this inning. So sometimes you'll trade off and out for a run, and right here would be a great time.
Now here's Utley in one of those situations where he is so good at putting the bat on the ball.
Yeah. Well, even with 2 outs, his first at bat, knowing that he's in front of Howard, he probably cuts down on the swing and says, listen, all I need to do is get on base and bring the big man up, and we can maybe have 2 runs and keep this rally going in this inning. And so he does a lot of different stuff because he's so smart.
To Adam Dunn. It's an out. It's a run. I think each team will be happy with that exchange. And it's now a 3-2 ball game. Chase Utley with his first RBI of the year. He drove in 93 last year, 104 the year before that. Ryan Howard 4 for 11. And the 2 home runs, Rob, no doubters into the deepest parts of this stadium.
Well, it's kind of mistakes on our part because over, I guess, since 2005, Ryan Howard has feasted on Nationals pitchers. I think he has about 31 home runs, one of his highest totals. And that is just too many pitches in the hitting zone for a guy that strikes out once every 3 at-bats. Don't even give him an option of trying to drive the ball out of the ballpark.
Good coverage there by Will Nieves with a runner at third and 2 outs.
And you still can pitch him careful here. You got first and second base wide open. There's no reason to lay one in there. You still have the lead. Just try to make this guy fish for a ball. If you don't get him out, you bring the righty Worth up.
He tried to pull an outside pitch. Little ground ball to Kennedy. So Stamon is bending but not breaking. He likes it. The family likes it. And the Nats still have the lead, 3-2. A beautiful Thursday afternoon, a little cloudy overhead, but the Nats sure got the bats going early. And here's the igniter, Rob, with a laser beam to right center.
Well, you can't script it any better than that when your leadoff guy comes up in the bottom half of the first inning and gets a triple. Then your second guy gets a single, drives him in. Then your third guy hits one off the wall. So the Nats started things off very early and often against Kyle Kendrick today.
Here's Nigel Morgan, who has swung at the first pitch in several of his at-bats. He did it on opening day with a base hit. Then he tried to drag a bunt there after first pitch swinging for that triple earlier.
Nice idea.
Well, Ryan Howard doesn't cover a lot of room down there. And you have a right-handed pitcher.
Well, and if you could get it by the pitcher, it's a base hit. With his speed, he's walking to first base. But the key is to get it by the mound.
So Niger on the season, 3 for 10, 3 runs. And really that number with the R behind it is the only stat that really matters for a leadoff guy. How many times does he come around and score? Well hit right at Utley. And that's 7 straight suddenly for Kyle Kendrick, who faces Guzman. Throughout the month of April here at the ballpark, the Nationals are collecting new toothbrushes for the earthquake victims in Haiti. You are encouraged to donate a new toothbrush or a whole bag of them at the community desk or foundation kiosk and help bring a smile to Haiti. A country that shares the same island with the Dominican Republic, but the standards of living between the two countries are quite different. Here's Guzman collecting his first RBI of the year with that base hit, and he's 2 for 3.
Well, and if Christian can continue to hit, you'll find a spot for him in the lineup. I know you're giving Ian Desmond a day off. He's not going to get too many more.
And there will be certain left-handed pitchers where Jim Riggleman might prefer a right-handed hitting Guzman to play second base and switch hit.
Give Adam Kennedy some time off. Also, maybe keeps hitting this well, stick him out in right field.
It seems to me, though, the Nats are a little reluctant to move Desmond around defensively very much. They'd like him to learn the shortstop position. The one game he played in the outfield last year, a crucial play did not go well on a line drive that he missed, and it cost the Nats a game in New York. So I think with everything Ian Desmond has on his plate here early, they'd like him to be a shortstop defensively and nothing else. 2-2 to Guzman. A chopper that backs up Ryan Howard. 2 outs. Ryan Zimmerman with the bases empty. Ryan 3 for 9. Now in the past, a situation like this, he'd see just about nothing to hit. But now with Adam Dunn here, that changed a bit last year, resulting in 33 homers, a career high, and 106 RBIs, the second highest total of his career. That's a big presence right behind you. But sometimes, Rob, I wonder if it's more perception than reality. I did read a story over the offseason that they did some studies down through the years about guys who had certain hitters behind them, and the numbers were not that much different without that guy behind them as they were with them. So maybe it's more perception on our part, or maybe it's the way the pitchers work them. But for some strange reason in this hard-to-figure-out game sometimes, the numbers aren't that much different.
Well, I mean, you still have to do the damage. And Willingham behind Dunn, he's going to get a lot better pitches because you don't want to get beat by Dunn. You know, if you were to pick your poison in this Phillies lineup, you don't want to get beat by Howard. And in the first 2 games, we've been beat by Howard. So, you know, if you pitch around that 4-hole guy, you know, sometimes the 3 and 5 guys don't put the numbers up, but you still don't want to let the big guy beat you.
9 in a row now for Kendrick since the Nats rocked him to start the game. with Debbie Taylor, brought to you by AFCEA. Visit AFCEA.org, the association for IT pros. Debbie?
Bob, we are covering the bases today with Craig Stamon. He grew up in a town called North Star, Ohio. He was a big Cincinnati Reds fan. His favorite player?
My favorite athlete to watch, probably growing up, was Eric Davis. He was my favorite baseball player with the Cincinnati Reds. He was just a really good athlete, played the game really hard. He got hurt a lot because of it, but he was their best player back then. It was fun to watch.
Craig was a good athlete. He played baseball, basketball, football, and he was also an outstanding student, Bob.
That does not surprise us at all. Went on to Versailles High School. Yeah, in the Midwest, it's not Versailles. It's Versailles, just like it is in Kentucky.
Eric Davis, one of the best teammates I ever played with.
He was a gamer, wasn't he?
Yep, but he would take the younger players under his wing, a lot like Ivan Rodriguez.
There's Craig Stamon looking over his Rob Dibble card collection.
Looks like he's got some Phillies in there too. Mike Schmidt.
Oh, Worth. He'll be the tying run with an extra base hit. At second base with nobody out, and he's 2 for 2 today against Craig Stamon. And these Phillies, you get up on them 3-0, they act like they don't even know it.
Well, we kept Worth down for a couple of days. Now he's got a couple of doubles today, and they just, when they make contact, they hit the heck out of the ball. They hit it on a line, they hit it hard, and you see his head down, driving through the ball. That's a hard 91-mile-an-hour sinker, and he just gets all over it.
Raul Ibanez is next. Well, if they do what they did last time, Ibanez and Victorino will hit ground balls and they'll tie this game. They both pulled the ball to Adam Kennedy. Ibanez was trying to drive the ball there somewhere.
Well, nice job by Stamon, working ahead. Now you put Ibanez on the defensive. He's trying to move the runner to third base with something to the right side. Once you get ahead, you just have the advantage. You look at throughout the major leagues, you get ahead 0-1, 0-2, batting average plummet from like 400 below 100. So strike one, still the best pitch in Major League Baseball.
Stamon had thrown 6 first pitch strikes to the first 13 batters he faced today. Only 1 in the first inning. But he got some easy outs around a single. Ibanez slicing it back, and it's 1-2. American League couple of finals are in. Toronto won at Texas 3-1. And the Blue Jays are 2-1. And Detroit a 7-3 winner at Kansas City. Tigers are 2-1, and they play an interesting series this weekend.
Who threw in that game? Porcello?
I'll look it up.
I know Tommy Hanson, the young gun from the Braves, going today.
They'll be hosting Manny Acta's Cleveland Indians this weekend. Interesting series at Chicago. The Twins and the White Sox will get together.
Dontrell Willis threw for the Tigers today.
Didn't.
6 innings, 2 earned runs. So great job, Dontrell Willis. A great spring.
Yeah, did not figure in the decision because they only scored 1 run for him during that time, but they did get him off the hook later. Now Ibanez strikes out, failing to advance the runner as Stamon got him up and away. And for Craig, his first strikeout.
Well, and that's right where we want Ibanez. Frustrated. He took a big hack after he struck out. 2-2 pitch. Changed the eye level. He takes something off and sinks it away from him. And that's still 92 miles an hour, but the great movement down and away. Ibanez was looking maybe a breaking ball in, a cutter in, and he got the hard sinker going away. So Stamon, great job right there. Great job by Will Nieves to move the ball all over the place right there and get that out.
Even effective as it started out belt high because it had the sink. Not every sinker has to be in the dirt.
Oh, no. And that sinker right there, thrown at the hip of Victorino. We saw Halliday doing that first start of the year all day to our lefties. Once you get that thing moving the way you want it and you can command it like Stamon's doing today, you can do a lot of different things. definitely getting that first pitch strike in there helps you so much, because Ibanez, who's tore us up last year, did not look like the same hitter.
I'm knocking on wood as I tell you he's 1 for 9 in this series.
Well, but here's the thing. It puts you on the defensive, and now you have to just try to make contact. So you cut down on the swing. Right there, a great breaking ball by Stamon. Victorino way over the top of it. And now he'll cut down the swing even more. So even if he does put a ball in play, you minimize the damage.
Broken bat.
Not to the bat, though.
Let's look at Stamon, the football player.
There we go, the QB.
Nice form.
Yep.
Looks like he's getting good protection, too. They're double teaming number 51, who must have been a young Dick Butkus wearing that number.
They grow them big in Ohio. Moeller High School right outside of Cincinnati. I would work out sometimes there, sometimes Lakota High School when I lived in Cincinnati, and 18-year-old young men were 300-pounders going to Notre Dame. I know Anthony Munoz's son was about 6'6", 280 when I think he was about 14 years old.
You go from there east over into western Pennsylvania. Serious football country. Guzman tapping the glove to let the runner know he's there. Not enough daylight to make that throw.
But once Christian goes to the bag, you got to step off. Either way, you can't throw the ball. So you might as well make some kind of move and get Worth back there.
Yeah. Victorino would guide it right through where the shortstop was. Only one other ball game in progress right now. At Oakland, A's lead the Mariners 4-0, 7th inning. Everything else tonight. And Stamon, another look, and here he comes on an 0-2. And Rodney sliding low and inside for that one.
Oh, nice block by Will, too. You saw the nice form, sliding across and blocking the ball. You don't want to just try to backhand it with the glove. Let's check out the block right here. You got to have quick feet to be a catcher. The ball is going to be down. He knows the breaking ball. He gets his body behind it. Try to backhand that. It probably goes all the way to the backstop. Craig may have crossed them up there. They're going over their signals again. They go without a signal here, just decide on a pitch.
Took a few pitches to get the strikeout to Ibanez. He's thrown 14 pitches already this inning. And Craig, as we mentioned earlier, about 3.4 pitches per batter usually makes things happen quicker than that. 2-2 to Victorino, who is a very patient hitter. Having batted second in this lineup on many occasions. Routine ground ball to Kennedy for the second out. And if Stamon can retire Brian Schneider, he's out of the inning. But then the pitcher's on deck. So you have to respect a guy like Brian and not give him anything easy. There's that list. It's interesting from last year that Joel Pinheiro and Chris Carpenter, two guys on the same staff. And then Marquis and Stamon, two guys who end up on the same staff the following season.
Well, and all guys that attack the strike zone and throw hard sinkers. They get a lot of ground balls. Duke, obviously the left-hander in that group. But a lot of these guys don't want to get behind because they know the stuff gets better when they get behind in the count, so they swing early. I told you last night about Marquis. He had over 400 ground ball outs last year. I think that made him 6th in the National League. Here's Jason. Came back quite well. 28 pitches in the first inning. Only 10 balls after that point. He threw 15 in the first inning. But once again, like Kyle Kendrick, Kyle wasn't getting any of the calls in the first inning, and he has settled down. And he's retired now, about 9 in a row.
9 straight. He's thrown 22 pitches his last 2 innings combined.
You've got to have a little help. Got to have a little help on those outside edges.
Little tapper. Could be trouble, but Stamon gets there. And he gets the catcher, Schneider. Leadoff double for the Phillies, and then Stamon gets them 1-2-3 to keep that 1-run lead. Theme on Masters Day 1. Teddy whiffs. Thomas hit the first ball. Pardon me, George did. And then he took off. And then for some reason, these 3 duffers decided not to even run the rest of the way. And George sails across the finish line. Not real sure what exactly happened here.
I wonder if George Washington cut down that cherry tree to make a bat. Only use maple. You like to play some ball.
The shift is on for Adam Dunn. How could you chop something down so beautiful? Look at that. Dunn rips one right over the shift into the gap. And Adam Dunn has his second base hit of the season. And his second hit in his last 3 at-bats. Nationals have their leadoff man aboard for the second time today, and Josh Willingham coming up. Adam making some solid contact here.
Well, he's starting to see a few more balls that are in the hitting zone, and the more Zim hits and the more Willingham hits, that's what happens. Balls right there over the plate. He just gets some extension and slaps it into right field, but teams don't want to start letting Adam hit like that, because then he's going to start launching some home runs.
Yeah. Breaking ball a little bit away to Willingham. Josh is off to a great start. 4 for 7. 2 RBIs. Had a sac fly 3 innings ago. He's also walked twice. He's been all over the bases in that number 5 spot.
I was talking to hitting with Ivan Rodriguez before the game yesterday, and he said when you're seeing the ball well, everything just falls into place. You don't have to worry about mechanics. You don't have to worry about I'm struggling. You know, I need to just get a hit here. I'm 0 for my last 20. And so, you know, when these guys are comfortable and in a nice zone, that's when they're not thinking too much. They're just looking for the ball.
See the ball, hit the ball.
Yep.
In fact, as broadcasters and guys around the ball club every day, we are very reluctant to walk up to anybody who's going well with the bat and ask them what's going on, because they don't want to analyze it or even think about it. And we totally respect that. Perfect location on the corner, called by Hunter Wendelstedt, whose father Harry was a very good umpire for a couple of decades.
Harry umpired a lot of my games. Loved Harry Wendelstedt. And right there you see a backdoor sinker by Kendrick.
And a 2-2 to Willingham. And he hits it right at Polanco. Good base running by Adam Dunn to stay home. Nats are swinging the bats well today. AT&T is sponsoring our trivia this year, and we're off to a bit of a slow start. April 8th, 93, a former National became the first player to homer from each side of the plate in the same inning. Former National. So that would be a switch hitter with some pop. Would that be Tim Raines? All right, we're told it's not anybody who played for Montreal.
Carlos Baerga.
Carlos not the biggest power guy, but
he played with the Nationals.
Swinging the bat well. He played in 05 here, right?
I have to admit, I might have seen the answer.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't Nick Logan.
Well, what I wanted to say about Josh and him hitting well is when you're going bad, you start hacking at everything. You expand your zone, you start swinging at bad balls. You can be more selective when you're seeing it.
That ball pretty well hit by Willie Harris. It's going and gone! Willie Harris puts the Nats on top, 5-2. And that will be his 28th career home run. He hit a career-high 13 2 years ago and 7 more last year. That little guy's got some pop when he connects.
Willie Harris gives this one a ride. His first at-bat hit a line shot at the first baseman. That one, a hanging, breaking ball, and he just is all over that ball.
And there are no cheap home runs in this ballpark out there when you have to clear that 15-foot scoreboard.
No, and we've seen Willie. He's got tremendous power, and when he steps into one like that, as we said, saw the ball really well in the first at-bat off Kendrick, got robbed, maybe a hit, and that time he doesn't get cheated.
Second Nationals home run of the year. Desmond has the other. And the Nats have regained that 3-run lead against this potent Philadelphia ball club.
Don't want to stop there.
But that was good, Rob,
Phillies
because,
never out of the game.
Well, as you mentioned, Kendrick had retired 9 straight and 10 of 11 before that blast. He had righted his afternoon. Now the Nats have him struggling a bit again. Washington with 5 runs on 5 hits. They collected 19 hits in their first 2 games. To bats 271. Problem has been stopping the fighting Phils.
And off Kyle today, though, not too many balls not hit hard. A lot of the outs have been atom balls, line drives right at people. And the ground balls have been hit hard.
2-2 pitch. What a stroke by Kennedy. That ball's going to spin away from the left fielder Ibanez, and that'll get Adam Kennedy easily into second base. He's made a pretty good living in this game, shooting that ball the other way in his 12th Major League season.
Having the right approach is everything in this game, and going up there, you're looking maybe for a sinker or something away from you. You see the head down, and he just throws the hands. We watched Chase Utley do that last night to us, and we get them back a little bit at their game.
Don't you love that Exmo look?
I love it because it just shows you throwing the bat head. We had a coach named Danny Litweiler, and he used to have the players throw the bats to throw your hands, and you would throw the bat out to second base. And you throw about 15, 20 bats out there just to get the idea, listen, throw that bat head out there. Throw those hands out there. That was one of his teaching mechanisms that he used with the players. That kind of stunk because the pitchers had to go pick the bats up. I wasn't happy about that. Pick your own bats up.
Will Nieves thinking Oppo as in opposite field, and Worth will catch that easy fly ball for the second out. And this is now a pitcher coming up with one of those situations, swing hard in case you hit it, with Craig Stamon coming in and Jose Contreras warming up, because Kendrick is the first batter due up for the Phillies in the 5th inning. If any of you folks, if you ever get out to the Dayton area and you can see a basketball game at the UD Arena where Craig went to college, do it. It's one of the great atmospheres, one of the best kept secrets in America, right along Edwin Moses Boulevard. That's it. Good inning for the Nationals. A leadoff Adam Dunn, a single. A 1 out later, Willie Harris blast. And the Nats lead the Phils 5-2. AT&T, a better 3G experience. She's got some onions and some relish going for her afternoon treat here at the ballpark. Great day to watch a game with the cloud cover. It's actually quite comfortable everywhere in the yard on an 82-degree day.
And that little one's got some Cheerios.
And get yourself a Grand Slam Flex plan. You can bring all the Cheerios you want. You can bring them for 5 games and only have to pay for 4. Plans start as low as $68 a seat for the whole thing. Nationals.com/Grand Slam or 202-675-NATS. Spend less, get more. Go Nats. Ross glowed for the pitcher Kyle Kendrick, who's done for the day. After throwing 55 pitches, 36 for strikes, and giving up 5 runs on 6 hits. Glowed best pinch hitter in baseball last year with 22 pinch hits. Pinch hitting about 3 innings earlier than he usually does.
I'm sure Charlie Manuel didn't want to have to burn Ross this early in a ball game and behind by 3 runs, but sometimes look down the bench and your day.
Well, he still has Greg Dobbs, and I don't know if he's going to burn Glowed or not, but if he scores, it's a great move. We'll see with Rollins, Polanco, and Utley now coming up. Anytime the Phillies get any offense at all from the bottom of their batting order, you just get real nervous. Kendrick did not walk a batter, struck out 2, but he gave up 5 runs on 6 hits in 4 innings of work.
Well, they're just so dangerous. I mean, Jimmy Rollins has great speed. If he gets on, he can steal bases. He can go first or third, but he's also got great pop. He can hit a lot of home runs. And then Polanco's one of the best number 2 guys. Utley's maybe one of the smartest 3 hitters in the game, and then you've got nothing but pain after that.
Well, going back to several years ago when they had Bobby Abreu, then they had Aaron Rowand, then they brought in Pedro Feliz, and now it's Polanco. Pat Burrell basically got booed out of town and is now with Tampa Bay, but interchangeable parts at times. But the core group of Rollins, Utley, and Howard have had everything revolve around them. And that's a big out for Craig Stamon, the first out here in the 5th. we would never say that managing any ball club at this level is easy. But trying to determine his everyday lineup is a lot easier for Jim Riggleman's opponent, Charlie Emanuel, than it is for most managers.
He's got some talent.
In fact, I ran into John McLaren early this morning in the clubhouse, and he had the Phillies lineup card, and I said, "Don't tell me it's the same as yesterday." He said, "Well, Brian Schneider's playing today." Other than that, you are correct. Great stability, but you have to stay injury-free to be able to do that.
Well, and as we saw against John Lannon, the second time through the lineup was devastating. This is the third time through, and Stamon's only given up a couple of runs, 6 hits. They make adjustments quickly, so every pitch you have to make it and make the location.
There's Polanco with a line drive to center, and Nyjer Morgan let it get by him. That'll give the Phillies a run, and Polanco will go to third. Nyjer played a single into a triple. Actually a single and probably a 2-base error. It's great to be aggressive, but there are times when you just have to concede the base hit.
Well, and as I said, they are great at making adjustments. Second and third time at bat. Looks for the sinker, gets the sinker, and he just stays at home and drives that thing. And he was just thinking single. Nyjer was thinking great play, and that turned into be, as Bob said, a single with a 2-base error, but the run comes in to score. So you got 3, 4, 5, and you really got your work cut out for you, and they've made adjustments, so you have to make some adjustments now as a pitcher and really hit your locations.
Takes away the double play possibility. Here's Utley. So the Phillies a great chance here to be down by just 1 when Ryan Howard comes up. Utley hit an RBI ground ball to Adam Dunn last time. These guys are tough enough without giving them extra bases. Well, Polanco 2 more hits today. He's 7 out of 12 now in his first 3 games upon his return to Philadelphia, where he played several years ago. He was part of a deal that sent Scott Rowland from Philly to St. Louis. Then off to free agency and Detroit. One ball, 1 strike. Important juncture of this game here in the top of the 5th.
Bob, this is Craig last year. First time, second time, third time through the lineup, and you see that average go way up near 350, and that is something he's got to change if he wants to be a very successful major league pitcher. You want to go the third time and fourth time through the lineup, keep those averages way down. You're going to have to adjust, you're going to have to locate, and you're going to have to remember what you threw earlier in the day to these hitters.
Yet Utley reaching, the runner will have to stay. Big out for the second one here in the 5th.
Ryan Howard's first 2 at-bats against Craig Stamon today. Craig had his number. He's been throwing a lot of good sinkers, a lot of good breaking balls. Got that breaking ball. He got away with that a little bit. Hung it. But Ryan Howard might have been looking for something else. And then there, a great spotted sinker down and away. And Ryan Howard lunged to try to expand his zone. So this is a huge moment in the ball game. Yeah, a huge momentum shift if you get out of this inning with just 1 run. And that's why I talk so much, Bob, about saving some kind of special pitch for the third time through the lineup. Show them all your goodies. And then the third time through, you got nothing left to kind of get them out with. We saw that, I mean, what is it, 267, 269 to like 347?
Yep. He rocks one to left center on a pitch that was up and away. And the Phillies have made this a one-run game. Well, if Ryan Howard's going to stay within himself and do that, not a whole lot you can do.
No. And you know what? If you're going to pitch him in, you got to jam him, tie up the arms. Here you see Will Nieves go way, way away.
Yeah. And
that ball just comes right back over the heart of the plate. And Ryan just smacked that out there. Two-out base hit RBI. But
and look out here the way Jason Worth's been swinging the bat today. He's doubled identically to left center twice. Sean Burnett getting ready with Raul Ibanez on deck. That tells you if the inning doesn't end here, Craig could be done.
No, you got to be smart. Got a guy with not great speed on first. Try to get this guy to expand his zone. Reach for something, maybe hit it on the ground. Working him way away. I mean, pitching's pretty simple in the sense that you're going to come in, you want to tie up their hands so they can't get extended. You want to take away a lot of their power, you go way away so they have to lean out over. They lose their legs, and it's pretty much a swing with their arms. And even if they do hit it, they're not going to kill you.
Worth, fair ball. Willingham needs to cut it off, can't. But Ryan Howard is running. And he rounds third. They've got him. They've got him. Here comes Zimmerman to the catcher, and Ryan Howard makes a serious base running mistake. There's no way he was going to score, and he went about 30 feet around the bag, and the Nats get a break from a base running blunder. Worth his third double of the day, and the Nationals hold on to the lead 5-4. Willie Harris homering for 2 in the fourth, but Craig Stamon suddenly is struggling against these Philadelphia hitters. And it took a mistake by Ryan Howard, Rob Dibble, to keep this from being a possible tie game or worse.
Well, he overthrew the breaking ball. It backed up right into the sweet spot of the hitting zone for Worth. He hits his third double of the day. Gets by Willingham, but he gets it in quick. Great relay right there. You saw Zim try to make the tag. Now he knows he's got him hung up. And then a quick flip to Will, and he's dead to rights at home plate. But as Bob said, bad base running right there by Ryan Howard. He's running hard, he's running hard, he's running hard, and Sam Perlaza tries to stop him. And their mistake is a nice gift for the Nationals.
One little nuance right at the end of that play was Ryan Zimmerman running onto the infield grass to create a passing lane, if you will, around a big base runner to get that final out. Now here's 38-year-old Jose Contreras. Defected from Cuba in October of '02 during the Americas Series tournament in Saltillo, Mexico. Broke in with the Yankees in '03. And his biggest season in the big leagues, 15-7 for the White Sox in '05, when they won the whole thing. Top of the order, Niger Morgan. In the air to left center. Victorino is there. Did Rob Dibble nail it with Carlos Baerga on our AT&T trivia? Former National, first MLB player to homer from each side of the plate in the same inning. He was with the Tribe, later with the Nats. That guy was a good hitter.
Yeah, but I cheated. I saw that answer.
I don't care. We're still 1-2. Carlos Baerga, one of his favorite things was showing up at the ballpark in a stretch limousine. Really? I think that was when he was with the Mets after he signed that huge contract. I mean, how could you pass up a yellow taxi in New York City? Come on.
I don't know, the subway wasn't a bad way to get to the park.
7 train?
Yep.
We may do a little bit of that this weekend. Christian Guzman 1 for 2 with a base hit up the middle. That ball heading for the gap in right center. The Nats have another extra base hit. Christian Guzman's 2 for 3 today.
All right. Very nice.
Big guns coming up. Well, both teams are swinging the bats well here.
Well, and good job by Jim Riggleman keeping Christian in the lineup, letting Ian Desmond sit for a day.
I have a theory for you.
Yes.
First week of the season. It's 70 and 80 degrees, not 40 and 50. Usually the first week of the season, the pitchers are having a lot of fun out there.
Oh, absolutely. And right now, the hitters seem to be far ahead of the pitchers, seeing the ball and it wasn't really cold in spring training, so
yeah.
A lot of these guys probably didn't enjoy hitting off the pitchers in the spring, but they're having a field day right now.
Well, in the MassimSports.com video blog I did with Adam Dunn yesterday, he said, I'm glad we could come up here and get our work done. He said, we should have had spring training here. Here's Ryan Zimmerman, 1 for 2 with a double.
Well, you know Major League Baseball is contemplating having spring training for a few teams in Italy.
Really?
Yes, they are.
Why?
It's not for me to ask that question.
Contreras to Howard.
Way above my pay grade.
Does that mean the Nationals would have to bring Jason Simon Tachi back to the pitching staff?
Or Saltalamacchia?
He pitched in Italy for a while. Did Jason?
I wouldn't mind going over there for spring training. I don't know if the players would love that, going over there and then having to come all the way back. Just trying to expand the baseball, this love for the game worldwide.
Well, I think there's no doubt about that. But moving teams to the other side of the world for spring training?
I knew we should ask Bud something when we had him opening day.
Adam Dunn with a runner at third. A nice line drive base hit would be sweet here. Exactly the way he's done it in 2 of his last 3 at-bats. This would be a big run to get back after that error. He pulls it, but Utley's way over there in a pull position. And the Nats are gone in the bottom of the 5th. They've collected 7 hits and still lead 5-4. That's the look of the day here at the ballpark. Nats lead 5-4. Craig Stamon, by the way, is done. Sean Burnett will be in the pitch momentarily. Now, Rob Dibble, did you like playing day baseball?
I personally, I didn't love it, but I did love pitching at Wrigley. I always felt the hitters had the advantage, Bob, that they saw the ball a little bit better. I kind of like the shadows at night. So for me, I always thought I had an advantage at night, but obviously the Nationals love the daytime because it is reflected in the record from last year. They were above 500 during the day and 16 below at night last year. So hopefully maybe schedule a few more day games next year and the year after.
5.5 runs a game. That makes you want to come to the ballpark and have a hot dog and some popcorn and watch the ball flying around. And here's Sean Burnett, who hopes to keep the Phillies from doing just that. Victorino and Schneider to follow in the 6th. Craig Stamon, 5 innings, 4 runs, 9 hits, didn't walk anybody, 1 strikeout. Phillies with a busy box score today, 4 runs on 9 hits.
Craig did a great job, though. He battled. This is not an easy lineup to try to, if you're a contact pitcher, you try to get them to hit all the balls on the ground. And I'll tell you, Jason Worth righted his ship in the 3rd game of the season after we had gotten the first couple of games. Man, 3 doubles in a row.
Yeah. And by the way, if you're wondering about that Niger Morgan error, the runs became earned because of the subsequent hits by Howard and Worth later in the inning.
It's all right. Give him an A for an effort. Just got to be smart sometimes and think, I might want to lay up. It's just like golf. You either try a great shot from behind that tree or you just punch it out into the fairway.
A very familiar feeling.
Wish I could find half the balls I hit out into the woods.
Well, you know what Leslie Nielsen said on his golf video. That ball's not lost, it's just missing. And by the way, Dibs, the woods are full of long hitters. The Flying Hawaiian is next. Well, there's the first walk of the day. National League notes around Major League Baseball. First game at the Astrodome on this day back in '66. That's because the grass died after they painted the roof because nobody could see the pop flies. Number 715 for Hank Aaron against Al Downing back in '74. And Frank Robinson as a player manager debuted. And by the way, yesterday, April 7th, was a bit of a day in infamy for the Giants when Eugenio Velez made his season debut in the 7th inning. In a double switch, the front of his road uniform said San Francisco. They had a misspelled uniform for the Giants last night. Franciso.
We've been through that.
Don't have to worry about that one anymore here. Now it's the Giants' problem.
Hey, but it worked out well for the Nationals charity.
But I did hear that Tony Bennett is contemplating a new song. I left my heart in San Francisco. Tyler Clippard. Victorino. From the right side, 1 for 4 this year. Rollins and Victorino, the 2 switch hitters in the Philly lineup. And Sean Burnett's having a hard time finding the plate. Oh, my. You're up by a run, one of your most reliable relievers, and he walks the first 2 batters. And here comes left-hander Brian Schneider, the former Nat. Brian only hit .218 for the Mets last year in 59 games. Was on the DL April 16th. He strained a muscle in his back, and then he tore his calf muscle while rehabbing and just had a nightmare of a season. Meanwhile, about 70 feet away, the entire infield is gathered with the battery and pitching coach Steve McCatty.
Well, and I'm sure Steve McCatty wants everybody to be on the same page. whether or not you're going for double play, how you're going to pitch Schneider. You've got Contreras standing in the on-deck circle. I doubt he will hit. And you know, someone who's not going to hit is Ross Glode.
This is an interesting situation because Jose Contreras just came into the game. He is standing on deck. If it's a pinch hitter, Brian Schneider's probably bunting here. But with the pitcher coming up next, Brian could be taking a regular at-bat. So this will be very interesting to watch. He does show bunt and fans on it. And then, of course, Charlie Manuel could have somebody else in that dugout ready. He has a couple of right-handed bats. Juan Castro, an infielder, and Ben Francisco, an outfielder who's a right-handed hitter. Burnett having a word with Zimmerman. And I'm sure that revolves around a possible force play at third base.
Well, and Ryan just went through a set of signs to tell everybody, so they're all on the same page. You've got the corner infielders in. You've got the shortstop and second baseman at double play depth. And you want to make sure that the pitcher knows where everybody is so he doesn't throw the wrong pitch like a fastball away from Schneider, and he punches it through short and not only gets an RBI, but he keeps the rally going.
And the third baseman, Zimmerman, in a diagonal stance so that he can survey everything going on in front of him on the infield. Guzman behind the runner again. Now, by far, the fastest man involved in this situation for the Phillies is the man at first base, Victorino. Ibanez is not fast at second. Ryan Schneider is not fast in the batter's box.
Well, and the thing is, Ryan Zimmerman keeps telling Sean Burnett what his job is in case there's a bunt where he has to go.
There is a bunt, and it's perfect. And staying on the bag is Adam Kennedy. Brian Schneider with a perfect bunt, and now they will call Contreras back.
I'd say that's Ben Francisco down there.
And I think Francisco is spelled correctly in the back of his shirt.
Great bunt by Brian Schneider. He puts it right so Zimmerman has to field it. And it's a very nice play by Adam Kennedy. And here's the whole infield. You see everybody's got a job to do. Kennedy's going over to cover first. Adam Dunn's coming in from the right side. And that's a tough out, but you had to have it. Now you got second and third, one out. And that's probably it for Sean Burnett.
A lot of wheels turning here. Clippard was ready. So Sean Burnett will have a disappointing outing when he walks the first two men. And it's up to his teammate Tyler Clippard to keep the Nats on top here. 5-4 in the sixth. Here in the top of the sixth inning, lots of things happening, Rob, on that bunt play.
Well, that's why you have spring training. You go over stuff like that. You're going to see right here on this play, the corner infielders, first base and third base, have to come in and cover this bunt. And so the shortstop and the second baseman have a job to do. They have to cover some bases to try to get some out. So Sean Burnett's going to deliver the baseball. throw it in there, and now you're going to see the corner infielders come in. And as you see it right there, Ryan Zimmerman fields the bunt. The second baseman covered first base, and everything worked perfectly. So that's stuff you work on spring training, Bob, to make sure everybody knows their job, where they're supposed to be, what base they're supposed to go to, and even the pitcher has a job too.
Ben Francisco is a 28-year-old outfielder they got from the Indians in a 4-player deal. Actually, a 6-player deal. He came over with Cliff Lee last July, and of course, Cliff Lee's in Seattle now. Ben Francisco, a former UCLA Bruin. Clippard's ahead of him, and a front door breaking ball stays up and in.
Well, right here, Tyler, you want to get beat with your best stuff. You don't want to hang a breaking ball and give up a 3-run home run. You want to attack Ben Francisco. He's been sitting around all day, hadn't had any at-bats in this series. Use your head.
He's a .261 career hitter. Over 235 games with Cleveland the last 3 years, and part of last year, 37 games with the Phillies when he hit .278. Great speed at second. Not a lot of speed at third in Ibanez. So for him, getting a jump is the big thing. And Francisco follows it straight back. Changeup up and in, and the bases are loaded. So the Phillies have the bases loaded without putting the bat on the ball here.
That just wasn't good. Your third best pitch in a situation where you have to locate a ball.
Now you're dueling with Jeremy Rollins.
Well, now you got nothing but pain. But right here, Tyler Clippard. Actually, I think that was a breaking ball, Bob, that he just overthrew. And threw it so hard it backed up and it just hit Francisco. But, you know, you don't have to make a perfect pitch. You just want to try to locate it. And you, hopefully your catcher, if you throw it in the dirt and Francisco swings at it, he blocks it.
Tying runs at third, lead run at second. Infield halfway. Jimmy Rollins did hit into a double play last night. He has to do that sharply right at somebody for it to happen.
Not the worst thing in the world. You had first base open. Now you got to force at any base, but you got to still make a pitch. Great changeup to start off Jimmy Rollins. I'm sure he was looking dead red.
Jacks it to right. Willie Harris has it, and this game is tied. 2 runners moving up. Jimmy Rollins with his second RBI of this series. And the game tied at 5 here in the 6th. That run charged to Sean Burnett, who's also responsible for Shane Victorino at third. The hitter's Polanco. You know how many 1, 2, 3 innings the Nationals have in this series?
1.
2. Actually, 2 yesterday and 1 on Monday. It's been really a struggle.
Well, that's why you're playing the National League champs and can measure yourself a little bit. Still in this game. It's a tie game now. It's a new ball game. Still got to make a pitch. Don't want to lose this guy. Then it's Utley, Howard, and Worth.
Yeah, actually, John Lannon had one on Monday. So 2, 1, 2, 3 innings in each of the first 2 games. So that's 4 innings out of 24. The Phillies have not had base runs. Constant pressure.
.1-0 pitch right here. Another breaking ball that he overthrows and stays up in the zone, doesn't get a call.
Really pulled the string on that one. 82 on that changeup.
But as a reliever, you don't need 3 pitches when you're only going through the lineup once. So going from fastball to breaking ball to changeup, I'd much rather see Tyler perfect 2 pitches than try to throw a good fastball and then a halfway decent curveball and a good changeup. Just too many pitches.
Follow that up with some heat away.
Well, but what happens is the hitters will now subtract one of those pitches. They'll say, listen, not consistent with the breaking ball in the zone. Change up, if I see it, I'm not going to swing at it. And then they start looking just for the dead red fastball. And Jimmy Rollins, all he needed was a fly ball. He got the fastball up, stuck the bat out. You got to be smart when you come in a ball game. Reliever's a different job. You don't have time to make mistakes.
Sharply to short, Guzman to Kennedy. The Nationals out of the inning. And the Phillies score 1 to tie. They've stranded 6 runners in a 5-5 game. Bottom of the 6th coming up. Those guys are ready to play some defense. Hopefully the Nats will take the lead and they can do just that. We're in the home stretch for the 2010 census. It's not too late. Fill out and mail back your census form right now. In the last 48 hours, the Mets let Nelson Figueroa go. And here he is as a Philly out of their bullpen. The Nats have had good success against him in the past. And this is probably a pitcher that needed a change of scenery.
Well, the injuries to J.C. Romero and Brad Lidge, Joe Blanton, got a lot of holes they need filling in Philly. Figueroa gets a shot here. I mean, if the Mets gave up on you, definitely the Phillies want to pick you up.
Right 2. 89-mile-an-hour fastball, inner half to Willingham. Josh has hit the ball hard twice today. A sac fly to center and a line drive to third that was caught. He's going to step out a little bit here and figure this thing out on 0-2. Figueroa, by the way, against a right-handed batter could be a little nasty. He's right at the third base end of the pitching rubber. Breaking ball that was center cut. A little off speed, though, at 74. And an easy can of corn for Victorino. Here comes Wee Willie Harris, who went big last time up.
First at bat, line shot right to Ryan Howard. Second at bat, gets a breaking ball, as Bob said, center cutting high. And you see it hit right on the sweet spot of the bat, and he crushes it. Huge home run right there for Willie Harris. And Phillies would come back and 2 in the top of the 5th and 1 in the 6th, but that was a huge 2-run home run by Willie.
Willie Harris has now hit 21 of his 28 career homers in the last 2 years. And this is his 9th year. Really parts of 9 years coming in. So really, in a sense, his 10th year in the big leagues.
He's a line drive guy.
Yeah.
You know, he knows his limitations. He knows them well. He does a great job. Very versatile player, can play anywhere on the field.
And he's 2 for 7 early in the season here.
You know, the one thing we haven't really mentioned is Christian Guzman and how well he's handled the transition of being told you're not the everyday shortstop. Hasn't said a word. He's been great. He was great in spring training.
The only thing we've heard on the negative side is that he's not real open to the idea of playing second base. But if that means at bats, he's got to do it.
He can really help this ball club. He starts hitting like that, like he's been hitting last couple of games. You'll find a spot in the lineup for him.
Willie was pumping on 3 and 1. Well, Guzman has base hits in 3 of his last 4 at bats. Ryan Bruni. By the way, the Phils in the 7th, Utley, Howard, and Worth, the do-ups. It seems like they bat every other inning, probably because they do. It'll be their 4th at bat in the 7th inning today.
You almost feel pretty good that it's only 9 hits and 5 runs you're looking at up on the board.
Yeah.
That is just a monster lineup. Polanco just gives them such a great look at the top, and Victorino drops down.
Harris takes the walk with 1 out. Willie's on again. That's the first walk issued by the Phillies today.
Yeah, make this guy work. There's a reason why he was just released.
I remember a bad game Figueroa had against the Nats at Shea Stadium a couple of years ago, and all he did was complain about all the bloops that fell in.
Oh, please.
I mean, he was walking guys and giving up hits. Adam Kennedy 1 for 2 with an opposite field double. Last time up, he just dumped one right over Polanco's head down the left field line.
So you could say, want some cheese with that wine? Get in there.
This one out for Jimmy Rollins. 2 outs. Will Nieves will be next. College students, you can show your ID at the box office day of game and get 50% off your ticket. Now, this offer is valid for all Monday through Thursday games in April on tickets valued at $10 or more. 50% off. Get your red on. Forget the homework for one night. Relax and get ready for finals with the Nats.
So this is where you're supposed to study for the tests?
Well, you got to get away from it once in a while.
Take a little 3-4 hour break.
I know my daughter who's in college, her evening doesn't even begin till like 10 o'clock every night. Emailing me papers at 3, 4 in the morning. Here's Ian Desmond, if the inning continues, to hit for Clippard. I mean, a college kid coming to a 7 o'clock game, that's like a day game for them. So we hope you can join us. Come on, George Mason, James Madison, GW, Georgetown, Howard, Maryland. Will waiting forever trying to hit that ball to the right side. Now Ian Desmond has gone back in and Mike Morris has come out. Good to see Mike after a bit of a strain in his leg last night. Inching his way about 10 feet over from the on-deck circle to get a good look at Figueroa. Emergency hack, and Will is still alive.
Will is outstanding when he goes to the right side in between second and first base, and he's just trying to punch one through there to keep the inning going.
And keep in mind, good speed on first if he can find a chalk line down there. Whoa. So you want to lean out over the plate on me, hey?
You want to dive a little bit?
That's Figueroa's fastball at 87.
Well, you get a lot of off-speed stuff, and you start leaning out over the plate to try to make sure you can cover the plate, and then he stands you up with a fastball in. Watching last night, Matt Garza stand up Miguel Tejada and drill him on 95.
Orioles have Tejada batting fourth in their lineup right now. Felix PA injured. And the O's are off to an 0-2 start. They're at Tampa Bay again tonight. 1-2 to Will Nieves. Good take. Willie Harrison, what looked like a delayed steal. Then he caught the Phils a little bit by surprise there. And the Nationals have 4 stolen bases without being caught here in the early going.
Well, as Bob said, the key to a delayed steal is kind of lulling them that you're not going to do anything. You saw the 2 stutter steps. Hop off, shuffle your feet, and then go. And Brian Schneider has to throw off balance. He throws it right by Jimmy Rollins. Shane Victorino was in too quick for him to go to third, but now base hit scores him.
And Nieves has fought back to 2-2 here. Up the middle. But Rollins is playing him there. He drops it and throws and out. It looked good for a moment, but the Nats are gone in the bottom of the 6th. They've stranded only 3 runners today. Pretty good at bat there by Will Nieves, who is really battling. But they've got the scouting reports that put the shortstop where he needed to be. To you by your Washington Ford dealers. Your local Ford dealer invites you to experience Ford like never before. Ford, drive one. Cloudy, comfortable day at Nationals Park. And a 5-5 game into the 7th inning. Who's going to come up with the big hits when they need them? On this copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Washington Nationals. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. Utley, Howard, Worth. Top 7. Clippard still in. Tyler actually pretty good job after hitting Francisco to load the bases. Got the fly ball from Rollins and then the grounder by Polanco to get out of that inning. But it happens too often, Rob. The Phillies scored a run last inning and had guys all over the bases without a single base hit.
Well, walks will kill you, and Sean Burnett just didn't have it working today. Walked the first couple of guys. That just isn't a reliever's job. Can't come in and put people on base.
Oakland just closed out a 6-2 win at home against Seattle. So for the next 40 minutes, this is the only big league game in progress. And they had Utley played way over there. Kennedy stays with it. Never panicked. And gets an important first out in the 7th with Ryan Howard next. It seems to me that the Nationals are playing Chase Utley more to pull in this series than we had seen them in recent years.
Well, Will Nieves and Tyler Clippard did a great job too, pitching him in, pitching to where the defense is playing. And they hit that ball right at Adam Kennedy. He knocked it down, and he made an easy play at first. Well, it wasn't easy because Chase Utley was hustling, but first baseman and second baseman, they just got to knock it down because they have a little bit more time to make that play. As you said, you got to pitch it to where you're playing defense.
But I remember lots of base hits by Utley through that hole.
Don't want to get too cute with Ryan Howard. He'll lull you into a sense of security, and he'll jack one out of here. So you want to make sure you keep the ball down and keep it away from him.
Homering twice in this series. A base hit and an RBI in 3 trips today, but a base running mistake on the ensuing play when Jason Worth doubled. The Phillies had drawn back even, and then Howard wandered way too far beyond third base, and Zimmerman ran him down to home plate where Nieves tagged him. And Howard beats the shift with a little loop into right center. Now you'll give him that one. Tip your cap to him.
Oh, yeah, you see the big grin. Not the worst thing in the world to give up just a little single like that to Ryan Howard, but now you got to go hard at Jason Worth. Bad base running last time. Jason Worth with his 3rd double of the day, Bob, goes right through the stop sign of Sam Palazzo, gets in a little bit of a pickle.
You know what?
You saw you go until you see the stop sign.
And I think I saw Sam waving the left arm initially for him to go home, and then he tried to stop him.
Well, I think
if that's the case, that's the coach's mistake, not the base runner, because you run hard till that coach stops.
Exactly. You keep coming, and I think Sammy thought that Ryan was going to score easily, but Josh Willingham made such a great play getting the ball in so quickly.
Yeah.
And that was the difference in the play.
1 ball, 1 strike to Worth, who has doubled 3 consecutive times today after going 1 for 8 first 2 games.
Oh, yeah, I mean, people will say, yeah, that was a base running error. But no, he did exactly what you're supposed to do. As long as Sam Palazzo is telling you to come, you are going all out. Now, you'll see some guys come around third and actually slide so they can stop. You got to stop on a dime, and I don't think about 275 is going to stop on a dime that easily. There's Sam Palazzo, former coach with the Reds when I was there.
And an alum of George Washington, the George Washington University.
He is one of the reasons their defense is so great. He works those guys every day.
1-2. And Clippard with a heater, moving Worth back. Phillies have out-hit the Nationals 10-7. Washington led 3-0 in the first inning on RBIs by Guzman, Dunn, and Willingham. Phil's got it back to 3-2. Harris made it 5-2 with a homer, and now it's the Phillies back even. Ball 3. Clippard has a lot of those. Pitches in certain situations nowhere near the strike zone.
Well, that's just rushing. You fly open. Your arm can't catch up, and he leaves the changeups and the breaking balls way outside because he can't pull it down.
Howard needs a head start at first, and he'll get it here on a 3. Well, with 1 out, maybe not. They'll have to hurry for 2. Ball not hit nearly hard enough. Howard out at second on the 6-4.
Tyler Clippard has such good stuff that if he could repeat his delivery more, he would be more consistent in the strike zone.
Is that a hard delivery to repeat? Because we showed him on our super slow-mo earlier, the X-Mo, Rob, from the third base side. And, I mean, he's all arms and legs flapping, coming right over the top.
And a lot of pitchers are, myself included. When you're coming all arms and legs, you just need a good balance point, and you need to bring and keep that front shoulder. And that's why last night you saw Ivan Rodriguez kept telling him, keep that front shoulder in, keep it in. As you keep it in, it makes your slider better. You keep it in, you can pinpoint your command with a fastball better, and it keeps your change up there longer. So it's yes, he is a power pitcher, but he can still have good mechanics to go with it. I had a lot of my former pitching coaches, and you hear pitching coaches today, muscle memory. So right there, perfect delivery, perfect pitch. Try to repeat that over and over and over. It's one of the hardest things to do as a pitcher in the major leagues, but you got to do it if you want to be consistent.
And don't forget about Jason Worth. Over the last 2 years, he has stolen 40 bases in 44 attempts.
Davey Lopes is still not back.
Milt Thompson still serving as first base coach.
But he has taught these men well. Chase Utley, 23 for 23 last year.
And then Worth was 20 for 23.
Ryan Howard was 8 for 9. I mean, you know, and it's not so much you need speed. You need to get a good jump off the pitcher. And what does that entail? It's just watching little things that Tyler Clippard's doing. If he keeps looking over one time, you can time him, and you can go off of him about the third time. That's why as a pitcher, you got to change your delivery to home plate. Sometimes you go 1 Mississippi, go to home plate. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, step off. You have to vary your times so that you're screwing up the guy on first base. If you just keep going on the same speed and the same time, he's going to time you and take off for second and probably get the stolen base easily.
Count remains at 0-2. Boy, Nigel Morgan playing this guy as deep as anybody. He's playing Raul Ibanez in center as deep as the Nats play Ryan Howard.
You don't want to let a double go over your head right here, so that's why you see our outfield is at no double depth. You don't want anything going over their heads. You don't want the guy scoring from first.
Got him. And the top of the 7th is over. A crowd of 20,217 will stretch. The Nats and the Phillies tied at 5. His season debut, and he'll be taking on the Mets and Mike Pelfrey. We'll get you going at 6:30 with Nats Extra, presented by your Washington area Ford dealers. Johnny Holiday and Ray Knight will take to the studio tomorrow as the Nats go on the road for 6. Night game tomorrow, day game Saturday and Sunday, and then on to Philadelphia for their opening day Monday. There's your pitching matchup for tomorrow night. By the way, the Phillies are real pleased. with their travel this week. They go from here to Houston and then go to Philadelphia to open at home. But we've been there and done that. Well, Tyler Clippard puts a 0 on the board, Rob, and here's Alberto Gonzalez as Jim Riggleman goes to his bench now for the first time. Gonzalez 0 for 2 in pinch hitting appearances to start the season. So Clippard gives up 1 hit in an inning and 2/3. Brian Bruni will be next. Clippard doesn't walk anybody, hit a batter, 1 strikeout, and a solid outing for him against some of the Phillies' best hitters.
Well, now you want to make Figueroa throw a lot of pitches, get into a jam right here. Nobody warming up in the Philly bullpen.
Right down the middle to Alberto. Getting a little darker here with some weather in the area, but holding off nicely.
Charlie Manuel looks quite relaxed over there.
And by the way, I did say the other day that Charlie was born in West Virginia. We had an ensuing conversation the next day. He was raised and still lives out in Lexington, Virginia, which is right out where I-64 intersects with Interstate 81. He's very proud of his neighborhood out there, and that's a good old Virginia guy right there, Charlie Manuel. Now Figueroa walks a second batter, and that's big for the Nats. You have a runner at first with good speed, a batter who can bunt with blinding speed, and a lot of variables in this situation for both ball clubs.
Well, for Nyjer Morgan, though, right here, you got a job to do, and that job's to get the runner from first to second. So you have to sacrifice yourself first. Make sure you place this bunt, and you're not trying to get a base hit with the bunt.
Just like that.
Great job.
And he got it done in a hurry. So Morgan 1 for 3 with a run scored and a sacrifice. Now you have 2 shots to take the lead with 2 of your best hitters, Guzman and Zimmerman. Christian Guzman stroking the ball nicely here. An RBI single up the middle in the first. A double to the scoreboard in the 5th. Christian drove in 52 runs last year with 24 doubles, 7 triples, and 6 home runs. Good eye. Ball 2.
Well, and people at home may be thinking, well, who's got the advantage in this situation? And I would say our hitters, they know Figueroa. They know he doesn't have too much stuff in his arsenal that can get them out. So you can be a little bit more particular, get a pitch you can handle. All you need is a base hit to try to score the run.
He jammed Guzman, though. Howard to the pitcher. 2 outs, and Gonzalez to third.
Need a little 2-out magic here by Zim. Gentleman Zim. I like that nickname for him, though.
You know, and everybody talks about how Zimmerman's now becoming a leader on the ball club and all that sort of thing. This is the same guy that I met 4 years ago. He was mature beyond his years in his early 20s after coming out of UVA and going from a college uniform to a major league uniform over one summer. It hasn't been that big of a deal for him to become what he is now. because the building blocks were all in place at that time when he was 21 years old. 1 for 3 today. 3 for 11 with an RBI on the season.
Well, and now he's being called upon to change the culture in that clubhouse. And he's not just the face of the franchise. He's one of the most talented. He's an all-star and a gold glover. Now it's up to him to police that locker room. And he's shown them by example. But now sometimes you got to speak up and tell some guys and get in their face.
Ryan may need to cut that swing down a little bit here now that it's 1-2. He's already struck out 5 times in 11 at bats.
I'll tell you a quick story while we have a moment. Mike Rizzo was telling me about Matt Williams in Arizona, a young player, hit a home run and Cadillac'd it around the bases. And he was telling me Bob Melvin, when he was managing there, never reprimanded a player. But Matt Williams, the third baseman, met that player at the top of the dugout and aired him out and said, we don't play like that here. You're never going to show up the opponent like that. And basically, that's policing yourselves. And Matt Williams, obviously you know him, one of the quietest, but also one of the toughest opponents and most competitive opponents I ever had the pleasure of facing. But when he said something, boy, he would challenge you.
And he was great on both sides of the ball with the bat or the glove. Quite a battle here, 1-2 again. Wow, just a little low, evidently.
1-2 pitch right here by Figueroa. He's throwing a little bit of a, as Bob would put it, a front door breaking ball, trying to throw it off the hip of Zim for a strike.
Zimmerman fights one off. Right field way. Worth. That's a fair ball. A run scores. Zimmerman heading to second and stopping. The Nationals take the lead as Zimmerman just keeps one inside the right field line. And finally, the Nats make the Phillies pay for walking the leadoff man.
Look of relief on Ryan Zimmerman's face. Needed a little two-out magic. Fastball in on your hands, but you're still strong enough to fight it off. It just gets in on the foul line there. Jason Worth giving him a great effort. And now they will put the big Adam Dunn on first base.
That's okay. We like the way Josh Willingham's swinging the bat right now. It'll be Figueroa's third walk in 2 innings.
Well, a great job, Bob, by Zim on that at bat, too. He fought him off. Figueroa looked like he had him on the 1-2 pitch. Didn't get the call. Sometimes you jam yourself and ball gets out there. You couldn't throw it or place it out there any better.
And those make up for the line drives you hit right at people.
He'd been fouling some balls off. Didn't look like he was totally overmatching Figueroa on that at bat. And you'll take that double right there because it's an RBI go-ahead double. Roberto knows it. Ought to be lucky than good in this game.
And I'm sure Jerry Lane, the crew chief, just gave him a little bit of that as Ryan chuckled.
I'm sure Jerry's saying, hey, a grown man hit that ball?
Yeah. Well, Jerry was behind the plate on opening day when that grown man hit one off the Geico sign in right center. Charlie Manuel, the ultimate railbird. And his team now down by a run here in the 7th with Josh Willingham coming in 0 for 2, but a sac fly. You know, some would call it an insurance run at second base. When you're facing the Phillies, 1 run in the 7th inning is not insurance. Willingham on the first pitch pops it up. Polanco catching the fair ball. And the inning is over. A walk and a double. Zimmerman puts the Nats on top. by Mitsubishi. Test drive one today at the Dare to Compare sales event. Well, the Nats give the Phillies a bit of their own medicine. A run on only one hit because of a walk. And Washington leads it now into the 8th inning, 6-5.
Bob, the Home Depot doing more on defense. Play comes in the first inning. Ryan Zimmerman coming in, charging hard, has to make a quick transfer. You'll see, make the catch first, transfer to the throwing hand, throws it, then Adam Dunn gives him a little bit of help at first base. There you see the coming in, transfer, flick it over to first base, and doesn't everybody wish that they had a 6'6", 275-pound tackle playing first base?
Yeah.
But Zim does, and he used him over there.
You know, Zim's 6'3", almost 230. Victorino lines it, and the Nats get a break. It's right at Willie Harris, and that's how the 8th inning starts.
We got a guy there. Not a problem.
Brian Bruni in a very meaningful setup situation here.
There's some days you'll take 3 atom balls like that and just run right off the field. Not that we're looking for that.
Brian Schneider 0 for 2 with a sacrifice. He set up their run with a very good bunt back in the 6th so that Jimmy Rollins could tie the game on a sac fly, which was a line drive just like the one we saw.
Well, like we saw yesterday, and hopefully we can get these 3 outs and get the ball to Caps in the 9th. Give our closer and setup guys some more work in winning situations.
Nigel Morgan, 2 outs. And the Phillies now will call on Greg Dobbs.
It's just hard, Bob, to duplicate adrenaline in a, when you're down 3 runs or 5 runs or 10 runs and come in a ball game.
Yeah. We know how you guys like to live on the edge, staring into the abyss, and then pulling out a win from the jaws of defeat. You live for that. Do you miss that?
I do miss that.
I mean, how do you channel that now? Because I know what kind of guy you are.
I have you to help me channel it. Sometimes you have to take my bad jokes.
Sometimes.
Okay, a lot of the time.
I have seen you racing through the parking garage over at the complex a time or two. Avoiding concrete by mere inches.
This area has the most cameras on the planet. I had 5 tickets last year going through the tunnels. Double nickel on the highways. I go 15 in the parking garages.
Antonio Bastardo throwing again.
Bastardo.
I did find it amusing when I got home after the game last night, and they already had Dibble Cam at the entrance to the garage. I was like, wow, they got that up quickly.
Oh, are you kidding? My way into work today, they're fixing the cameras going in and out of the tunnels. Guys staring at my car. Yeah, we got you. We know what you're driving now.
2 balls in, a strike to Dobbs. Greg got a real off year last year, but he was the best pinch hitter in baseball in 08. They went out and got Ross Glode. Now they have 2 of the best left-handed bats off the bench that any team has.
Well, Brian got 2 quick outs right here. You got Dobbs, but then it's 1, 2, 3 again for the Phillies. And as you said, it seems like the Phillies are always coming up with the heart of their order every other inning.
Oops. 2-out walk. That'll bring in Jimmy Rollins. 3rd walk issued by the Nationals today. One of the previous 2 by Sean Burnett did come around to score Ibanez in the 6th. But Jim Riggleman's pitching staff's only given up 1 hit since the 5th inning. Top of the order now, and Jimmy Rollins, who is starting the season off very well. Jimmy's 1 for 3 today, 4 for 10 with 2 RBIs. He's been on base 4 other times in this series via the walk, and he has swiped a base. That's ripped into the corner. Willie Harris has to be good here to get it back in. He is. And the runners will hold at second and third with Polanco coming up. I'd say if Jimmy Rollins is swinging the bat like this in early April, the Phillies might get off to a real good start. Because he really struggled early out of the gate last year.
2-out walk. Try to get ahead of Rollins there with a fastball. It's up in the hitting zone, and Jimmy knows that Bruni throws in the mid-90s. He just needs to make contact. He does. Gets the bat head out early. Gets a double. Great job by Willie Harris cutting that ball off in the corner. That is not an easy corner to grab balls and grab the caroms and pick it up and fire it in, but he did a great job getting it in, keeping Dobbs at third. Caps on the right, Jesse English on the left. And actually, the left-hander should be on the right, so he's throwing to the outside. And the right-hander should be on this close side, so he's throwing on the outside, and they don't kick each other.
Yeah. I think some of these bullpens are a little bigger now that they're off the field of play. You wouldn't want to warm up like that at Wrigley Field.
Well, and I wouldn't want to warm up with some of my old bullpen mates because they would kick me with their high leg kicks. And they wouldn't want me there either. I'd kick them.
All right, key matchup now, the righty-righty thing between Bruni and Polanco.
You remember San Diego's bullpen? That one down the right field line
that
for the visitors?
That you couldn't see?
Well, you couldn't see it, but the right-handers, my leg literally went into the stands in front of the people in the front row.
Wow. High strike.
Very good contact here. Contact guy right here. So you got to be careful. Make sure you keep the ball down.
Two on, two out, top of the eighth in a one-run game. Polanco looking to serve it to right, and the count's 0-2.
And you just see how unselfish the Philly lineup is, too. They know what they're expected to do. In this situation, some guys are trying to hit a 3-run home run, which is not needed. To try to get that 1 run and even the score, just trying to put that 95-mile-an-hour fastball in play somewhere. Jason Marquis hit Polanco last night in his first at bat. He likes to dive out there and cover the outside part of the plate, and that's a pitch to keep him honest. Oh no.
Worry about him in the ninth inning.
Maybe hurt his back or something. Stretching right there.
On a pitch up, Polanco fights it off. Close enough to be hacking on a 1-2 count. 7 p.m. straight up in our nation's capital. Ball game in progress for 2 hours and 24 minutes so far. And the Nationals lead the Phillies 6-5, top of the eighth. Oh, was that close?
Where's that pitch at? Come on, Hunter. Great slider right there. Watch this ball break over the heart of the plate. 1-2. Polanco might be looking fastball. He pulls a string on a slider. And that's a beautiful thing right there.
Great pitch, and the umpire probably got it right. 2-2. Jams him. Zimmerman has it. Nationals are out of the inning. Bruni gives up a walk and a double, and the Nationals still lead 6-5. Lead at 6-5, even though being out hit 11-8 by the Phillies. Craig Stamon went 5. He cannot get the win because the Phils came back and tied the game. Willie Harris, the big blow of the game, a 2-run homer back in the 4th. And Ryan Zimmerman's had a good day with a couple of extra base hits. And a little flare that caught the right field line. But here's the 4th drive of the game by Willie Harris.
Well, he's hit this ball so far you could drive a truck through it. And I'll tell you, he got all of that bad breaking ball from Kendrick. Even though that's not the game-winning RBI, it still put the Nationals up by a few runs, and then the Phillies would tie it. But Willie Harris has been a force today. He even made a great play defensively in the last half of that inning to keep the Nationals up a run.
Antonio Bastardo has pitched in every game of this series now. 2/3 scoreless with a hit, a walk, and a strikeout Monday. A third of an inning on one pitch last night in the 8th when he popped up Nigel Morgan, and right behind him David Herndon.
You feel like you're a man on an island if you're Bastardo?
Only lefty?
Only lefty in the bullpen.
Well, that means you'll have a job for a while. It can be lonely out there. You know what they say? It's lonely on the left.
It is. It's lonely on the left.
In a bullpen.
Didn't the Pirates last year, they had a Rule 5 guy after we got Burnett? Wasn't he their only lefty at the end of the year? I remember we went in there late.
And that's saying something for September.
He wasn't very good. This kid's pretty good. He got some stuff.
Battling Buccos went down to the Dodgers today, 10-2, as LA won their first game. They're going. The Dodgers are to Florida for the weekend. So Willie Harris today, 1 for 2 with a 2-run homer, a walk, and a stolen base. I like the Nationals' running game so far. 4 steals without being caught. 2 of them by Nigel Morgan, Willingham, and Harris the others. Adam Kennedy and then Will Nieves for the Nats here in the 8th. On a nasty breaking pitch, Willie Harris gone.
Well, that's a nice breaking ball right there after the 93-mile-an-hour fastball spotted outside. And then you throw a great 82-mile-an-hour curveball in the dirt. Really had no shot right here. This was all set up by the fastball away. Now you change the speed differential on it by 11 mile an hour and made Willie look not too good on the swing. And this kid's got some really good stuff.
Adam Kennedy with an opposite field double in 3 trips. His first 3 games as a National, he's 2 for 10. Left-handers have never bothered Adam that much because he's so good at taking the ball the other way. He hooks this one to right. Worth is cruising for it and grabs it on the track. 2 outs. We are in the home stretch for the 2010 census. It's not too late. Fill out and mail back your census form today. Make sure your neighborhood, your community is represented. Charlie Manuel playing matchup baseball here.
I tell you why a census is good, Bob. I went back to look up some ancestry, and I found a lot of my relatives on the old census.
Really?
Yep. From like 1910, 1900, then you go back into the 1800s. So
They're having a good evening out there at the Red Loft. Nationals on top 6-5 with 2 outs, bases empty here, bottom 8. Charlie Manuel will go righty-righty with rookie David Herndon against Will Nieves. Herndon pitched a scoreless 9th Monday in his Major League debut despite giving up 2 hits. First time Will Nieves will see him. Will's 0 for 3 in his season debut. He goes right up the middle. Chase Utley's going to get there and throw, and safe at first. Nieves legs out. An infield hit of the longest kind, as Chase Utley ended up in short left field by the time he finished that play. And that's important, Rob. That'll get Ian Desmond to the plate here.
Well, the way Will Nieves plays the game, and he's not going to get a lot of reps because of Ivan Rodriguez. His play is contagious. He's always hustling, always busting his butt behind the plate. Chase Utley, once again, almost makes a ridiculously good play. But watch this, hustling right out of the box. This is a catcher run to people. And he smells the hit. This Phillies defense, they don't give you anything easy.
This is one time you wish you had 3 catchers on the roster, because you could bring in Willie Taveras here to run for Will Nieves. Pudge Rodriguez getting the day off. Ian Desmond off to a fine start here. And he rips it up the middle. Rollins gets it to Utley on a beautiful 6-4 to end the inning. Ian Desmond told me when he came up to the big leagues last September, I'm a tough out. He sure is. And it took a spectacular play by Jimmy Rollins to get him. Save opportunity as a Washington National. We invite you to visit the official online shop of the Nats at nationals.com. It's the largest online selection of authentic team gear, caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles. It's all the official stuff of your favorite ball club. Get it right from the source. Shop the nationals.com shop. Willie Taveras takes over in the lineup in the number 5 spot to play right field, and that will move Willie Harris to left field. And talk about speed to burn in the outfield right now with Niger Morgan between those two.
Yeah, I'd put this outfield right now up against anybody's as far as speed goes.
I'd like to run a relay race with these guys.
Who's the last leg? Matt Capps? Okay.
No.
Adam Dunn.
No, I'm talking about a 3-man relay.
Oh, a 3-man relay, because that's the new Olympics.
I know. Chase Utley, top of the 9th, and Matt Capps throws a high fastball by him at 95. Matt Capps, 27 saves for the Pirates last year, 21
18 the 2 years before that on ball clubs that had limited save opportunities.
So far, Utley does not like facing caps. Chase Utley stands right on top of the plate. He dares you to come inside on him, and that was a well-placed breaking ball.
Oh, he'll take a hit by pitch here.
Absolutely.
We've seen him do that.
But he is as close as you can get.
And he's got a base hit.
Maybe more.
He might be thinking two, but Harris gets over there. Doesn't matter. Tying runs on Chase Utley. He had a double before he got to first base.
Well, and a good player will know the defense is deep. They're playing no doubles, so they're a little bit deeper than normal. This ball hit. It's cut off very well by Willie Harris, but he's so far out. Chase Utley has himself a leadoff double here in the top of the 9th inning.
They're going to walk the lead run to face Worth here. Now that's the ultimate sign of respect.
It is.
The only thing that's
totally agree.
The only thing that's bigger than this is if you would do this in the bottom of the 9th inning on the road somewhere.
Right. Or if you would walk in a run up a couple of runs to save a game. He has beaten this team so many times, Bob. I mean, even in seventh inning grand slams where we've been up 3 runs like last year. Sometimes got to do some painful things that go against conventional thinking,
but you have to get the double play in order here.
Absolutely. And so now what you're doing is you're putting a slower runner on. They may counter with a pinch runner, but you put Howard on. Now you got to force third, second, or first, and you could possibly get a double play out of it. But it's up to Matt Capps now. He's going to make a pitch.
Two on, nobody out. Worth is 3 for 4 with 3 doubles today. And he was trying to make it 8-6.
Well, he tried about 156 times last year in vain as he punched out, struck out 156 times last year.
That ball is really hit hard. Morgan over to get it. The tying run goes to third with 1 out. Well, a ball that could not have been hit any harder. These Phillies.
This ball is scalded, but you'll take it. Jason Worth has not been cheated at all today. Boy, he is a player.
And Morgan is so fast, it turned into a routine play for him.
And that's a player on the other end right there.
Here's Ibanez. 0 for 3. 2 strikeouts, a walk. And Ibanez 1 for 10 in this series.
Bob, this is why you play, though. You get a 1-hopper to short, and maybe turn a double play and end the ball game. 1 pitch.
There are some managers, because of the double play possibility, that would consider a squeeze here. But Ibanez is a power hitter who hits the ball to gaps. Homers on occasion.
Well, and if that guy breaks from third and you see it as a pitcher and Caps is looking right at him, you have to throw it right at the hitter's chest.
Popped up. Not deep at all. Harris has it. Utley's got to stay. 2 outs.
Very nice.
Nationals drawing right around 90,000 for the first 3 games of this series. And now it's Caps against Shane Victorino and a visit coming up from Jim Riggleman. I mean, what do you have to talk about here with 2 outs?
Well, as a pitcher, you just got the momentum back, and I know Jim Riggleman wants everybody on the same page, but this is almost like freezing out a place kicker in football. Very nice pitch by Matt Capps right there. And sometimes even that bullet, that Worth hit, helps you as a pitcher. Gets you locked in and focused. The guy you've been waiting for all day, standing in front of you, the final out of the game, if you can get it.
This is the guy he's been waiting for since January 8th, when he signed with the Nationals as a free agent. Victorino 0 for 3 with a walk today.
And with 2 outs, if Howard takes off, you let him go. Don't even think about trying to throw him out at second. Just watch the Yankees do this against the Red Sox. Derek Jeter took off. Victor Martinez threw it to second with 2 outs. I think it was Gardner came home and scored. Matt Capps, it's all about Victorino.
Popped him up on the infield. Guzman is there. The Nationals win their first game of the year. Finally beating the Phillies. Clippard gets the win. Capps his first save. And the Nationals salvage a game of the series. Boy, they're good on getaway day. 6-5 Washington.